I took up journalism in university, and I'm pretty much like a single track mind type of person. I said like I wanted to be a journalist growing up. I wanted to be a storyteller, and for me that was like to become a journalist. And so took up journalism, got really into it, and a year after my school, I was hired as a reporter for an English news channel in the Philippines. And since I'm very interested in world news, foreign affairs, geopolitics, I was assigned to cover the foreign ministry and diplomats and embassies in the Philippines. So that's how I met my husband. We met at work. He was a junior officer at that time. And after that, when things got serious and we decided to get married, just to avoid any type of conflict of interest, I moved to an online news agency where I covered lifestyle, so which is another interest of mine. And here I started writing as well, and also uh, actually shooting my own video and doing minor edits because, of course, when you work for TV, you're only writing your reports and presenting them. Somebody else has to think about the visuals. And so with the online news agency, I started learning the other things about it. Also did radio for a while. So any type of media, I've actually dabbled in it. And yeah, so after that, when I got married to my husband, a few months later, we had to go to post. So that's it.
Yeah, so Carol is another
Mhm.
fellow diplomat spouse. We our lifestyle is quite unique as we move around every few years. It is quite challenging for all of us to maintain a career throughout that. Like you
Exactly.
said, there is conflict of interest, or some careers are challenging to translate into this
For
type of
sure.
lifestyle. So
Mhm.
one of I guess the main challenges for people when they get to that stage in their life is to think about how do I make that transition? How do I take what I have learned and apply it to
Mhm.
something that I can take with me anywhere I go? So,
Exactly.
what was your thought process? I mean, people may think, oh, journalism, so it kind of makes sense, but it's not as
It
simple
is.
as that, right?
Yeah, it is like I think out of the other types of careers, it is one of those things that is quite portable. But at the end of the day, when you're a journalist, and a lot of your a big chunk of your work comes from networking. So it was easy for me in Manila at that point because I already know where to go, who to interview, who to call when I needed a story. But of course, when we moved to Kuala Lumpur in 2014, like I didn't know anyone. So I
Yeah.
had to start from scratch if I wanted to become a journalist. But the thing is, at that time, I was so excited. I thought like, hey, okay, I've been so busy. Sometimes I would go home. I go to work at like 8 and then go home at 10, 11 in the evening. So it was such a hectic lifestyle. But I was, I was happy,
Right.
but I was definitely stressed. So at that time when we moved to KL, I said, okay, then at least now I have time to read all the books I haven't read, go learn how to swim because I didn't know how. So like do all these things and just be a lady of leisure. So I thought that was like going to be really fun for me. But by the third week, I was extremely bored. So I said like I wanted
Yeah.
to work again. But of
Yeah.
course, as a diplomatic spouse, I wasn't allowed to find a full-time job in Malaysia. And so I was thinking, like, what could I do? And, Almost Diplomatic started as a passion project. And until now, it still is. So basically, it's where I share about like, my life as a diplomatic spouse, like the things that I learn along the way. Because, of course, I don't think
Mhm.
anyone was actually born knowing what to do as a diplomatic spouse. Like, basically, we're just winging it the whole time. So I thought I would share the things that I would learn and also as an expat in Kuala Lumpur, I thought like I could give recommendations. So kind of like your passion for GloberWeb, like I wanted to share like some of the things that expats could get into while they were there, but the things that I was actually interested in. So I was
Right.
a little bit biased. Yeah, so in Malaysia, so let's say I'm somebody who still doesn't know what to do. I'm a new expat or diplomatic spouse, and I'm like thinking of something that I could get into, like maybe a new career. Um, what I'd probably do is I'd think of something that I am good at and something that something I'm good at, and also something that I would like. So a marriage of those two, because of course it can't just be something that you like. It might not be feasible. Like let's say I want to be a pop star, but I can't sing. So that's also something that should be taken into consideration. And
even
it
in
doesn't
there,
end
right?
there. So let's say,
Mhm.
yeah, sorry.
And even in there, right? Like you gave the example of a pop star.
Hmm.
Maybe there is some specific part
Yeah,
of that you really enjoy, and that is why you want to do that. So maybe there is another thing that you get
exactly.
into, right?
Exactly. Although I cannot sing to save my life, but if it's something that I really, really want, then I would train myself into that. Let's say I want to be a writer, I don't have the writing skill. Then it is also something that I could get into. I could go to a school. There are so many diplomatic spouses who are going to school and like improving their education and just building up their resume. One of our friends, Mariam, who's posted in Ankara, is like studying. So these are some of the things that they could also look into and improve a resume and find something new. It's never too late to get into a whole new field if you want to. So yeah, but for me, it's just that I've always been into journalism, storytelling, and the easiest way for me was to build my own platform. And somehow, almost the brought me back to journalism because I was blogging, and as it was hitting it off in Kuala Lumpur, some companies found Forbes found my blog and asked me to write for them before they even found out that I was a journalist by profession. So
Fantastic.
in a way, it brought me back to my first love.
Wonderful. Yes. Whenever you like what you
Yeah.
do, it really shows, right? And people can see
Yes.
the value that you're bringing with your skills. So
Mhm.
things just move along and they happen for you, right?
Exactly.
But it still requires some of that critical thinking, right? What are my strengths? And like you said, what is it that I love to
Definitely.
do? And really sitting down and focusing on that.